So when I was a young child, well, I was born in 1968. So, when I was a young child, Vietnam was going on, and there was a lot on TV. So, I saw a lot of graphic stuff on television, and people my age, some of us did, and well, what can I say? For one thing, I think many of us are anti-war. I can't speak for everyone, but I know many of us are. All right, and why isn't everyone? There's a question. And yeah, do we need to have discussions about what that is? I mean, I wouldn't think so, but yeah, I don't think so. I really don't. Here's what I want to talk about for a minute. While there's war going on, and it's there's war going on, and there's more of an ability to watch things even while they are happening. And well, I mean, a first thought is about children and when they're seeing those things and those things are going on at the same time. Because back in the day, when um, the Vietnam War was going on, I think it was probably not quite like that. But yeah, so I think about the harm, to anyone and everyone seeing violence, and we've seen so much, even suicides on camera, with social media. And so I guess what I want to say is this, and am I speaking? What, I don't have authority, I have life experience. And, as far as training and things like that. Well, I've worked in a lot of different jobs, but I have worked in healthcare, and I have, you know, training and education, and I have taught. All right, so here's what I'm going to say. And I think I have some common sense. I hope so. I mean, I try, I do my best, to not push things, but yeah, I might walk a fine line sometimes. But in any case, not ignoring what's going on, but being real careful about, you know, watching violence. What comes to mind is participating, uh, well, a person can feel not only horror and shock and those things, survivor guilt, and I don't know, because I really try not to even watch videos of violence, but it's important that's happening, because otherwise, I mean, it's evidence. I mean, it's all real so out of control. I mean, control by what do I mean by that? I mean, these devices and the way they are used and the way they're dehumanizing and all of that, I think have contributed to things getting to where they are in this extreme violence. And people just, wow. I mean, sucking the devil's dong. How about that? Sucking that big, hot fucking dong. And yeah, let's see where it takes them. But anyhow, yeah. So being careful about, and again, participating for some reason comes to mind. When we watch something live, are we participating? Well, I mean, a person I would think is just watching in horror, but a lot of things might go on in the mind, the heart, and the body, I'm just sort of saying, uh, back in the day when I was a child and a young child, there was huge amounts of violence that we saw from what was going on overseas. And now we don't have the same media. We had a more centralized media than this. I mean, yeah, there are media conglomerates that own a whole lot of stuff and tech monopolies and all that stuff. But it, anyway, I guess I'm just saying I think we need to be careful. We need to be careful not to, if we know, I don't want to see someone, I don't want to see that. Then being careful as far as opening things, being careful as far as looking at, yeah. So some people I think might be more sensitive than others, but it's just important to, watch out for, our own, we've got to kind of, you know, protect our own calm, and pray for people's safety. And yeah, and we have to know that this dictatorship that's been going on for a decade is coming to an end, and, you know, it might get real bad, worse before that happens, and I think that's one thing that's hard to know, but we have to know that is that is happening, it is going to happen, it's happening, it will be over.